never leave it till it's too late. Do it now.
So it's very lovely to meet you at last. Honestly, I've been really looking forward to this. And I think we have a similar ethos, I think, on products and life and family and things. So honestly, I've been really looking forward to it. So
yeah, well,
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for agreeing to do it. So I don't normally do this. I've only ever had one interview and I've never interviewed anyone. So I apologize in advance if I'm kind of all over the place, but I'll get there, so.
No, absolutely ditto. And I'm just so thrilled. I was so thrilled to send it over to you, the HappyPause Balm, but I'm so thrilled to be here and be interviewed by you as well, Mandy. This is awesome.
Right, so I did write a few questions. Sorry. So if you could start off just by telling us a little bit about yourself, Sandy, because somebody told me that were you born in Colorado?
I was born on the edge of the Rocky Mountains, but not actually in Colorado, but in Kansas.
Wow, okay.
So just next door. But Colorado was always my fantasy. I was always going to be a Rocky Mountain girl. And then life sort of changed at 24. I ended up in Australia doing a graduate program and met my soulmate, and just everything, all those plans changed and ended up being a tropical girl instead of a mountain girl.
Yeah, it's totally different, isn't it? What a difference. Because I was lucky enough to, I did my degree in America, and part of the degree I had to go and work in Vail in Colorado. So yeah, 2 years.
Oh,
heaven,
wow.
Honestly. Yeah. Oh. So it's a bit of a difference for you, isn't it, where you are now?
It absolutely is. And I paid my way through college working at Safeway in Vail.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And if
Small world.
Yeah. So you'd always go there for holiday times and that sort of thing. And when they were busy, and if they didn't have accommodation in Vail for you as a temporary worker, they'd send you up to Leadville. So you'd have to drive all the way up Leadville, over the divide.
Yeah.
To go and get a few hours sleep before your next shift.
Well, I used to work in a bakery in Marriott Hotels, and all the Leadville bus used to come in very early in the morning, and they'd all be walking through past the bakery. And I used to hand out like free muffins, and they absolutely loved me. I mean, I think the management staff really didn't like me at all, but all the workers loved me because I was like, he's a muffin. But it's quite a way away, isn't it? So yeah. What year was that, Sandy? What year was that?
In, oh goodness, a million years ago. That would have been in the summer of 89, the winter of 90, and the summer of 91.
That's exactly when I was there. How cool is that?
Oh, wow.
That's so funny, isn't it?
Oh, it's such a small world. No wonder we connect.
Yeah. I know, that's amazing. But, right, sorry. So moving on. And now you live in Australia.
Yes.
Yep. Whereabouts in Australia?
Well, so we started out in Southeast Queensland, and we had an adventure business on Fraser Island, which was quite exciting. It was a World Heritage Area and the world's largest sand island. And then we had a bit of a wake-up call that we were sort of spending 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, pouring ourselves into our business. And we sort of did a major lifestyle shift and found a young couple for our business. And we scooted north to the tropics.
Oh, lovely. And do you like it there? Is it really nice?
Absolutely. It is so beautiful up here. But you do remember that we actually had to reschedule. You had a few things happening in the UK, and we had a cyclone bearing down straight up the mouth of the Daintree River. When I said, I'm panicking, we can't maybe do it, I don't know. And then it actually bypassed us, dropped south, never crossed the coast. And
that's so cool, though. I love kind of nature-y type things, like, honestly, I would love to see, like the Americans call them twisters, don't they? I would love to see things like that, but this is the UK, like nothing ever happens here. So we're on like permanent lockdown at the moment, so nothing happens at all here at the minute. So there we go.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry. I totally forgot that you guys are on lockdown. And I should have said at the start. Yeah, how are you going as well with all the lockdown?
I think I'm the same as everyone else. I think I'm really sick of it now. Like at first I was Yeah, I was kind of, I was on board, but now I've had it. I mean, it's been almost a whole year. You know, I haven't seen Mum for a whole year. It's crazy. So yeah. I know. Don't get me started, honestly. As my sister would say, don't get me on my soapbox. So I wanted to ask what menopause has been like for you.
Well, for me, I guess so many of the issues that I faced during menopause, I realized there weren't answers to. And the dialogue is changing now. There are so many people out there having the conversation. But when I first started going through perimenopause, I would go to the doctor and the doctor would just say, oh, yes, you are in perimenopause now, and just be very informative that I was in perimenopause, but not actually helping me figure out any of the symptoms. And I discovered that I guess the solution for a lot of doctors I shouldn't say that because there are so many proactive doctors, but I found the solution was so often, we'll just put you on a round of antidepressants and maybe we can do some counseling. And I just thought those things can be very beneficial in so many circumstances. But for me, I was having, with perimenopause, very, very heavy periods.
Me too. Yeah.
And then in addition to that, I was having such vaginal dryness. Turns out it's a thing. There are more than 20% of women going through perimenopause suffer from those two very things. There's a study in Italy that now says it's possibly even 77% of us that have severe issues like that. But my doctor was just saying, no, it's just perimenopause, and not offering any solutions except counseling and antidepressants, which is what landed me then on the path to creating HappyPause.
Brilliant. So tell us about that. That's very interesting, isn't it? It's great.
Well, it is. And it was just, I was suffering from dryness, but back then, that was before Jane Lewis had published her book, Me and My Menopausal Vagina, which have you heard of Jane Lewis's book?
No.
She's in the UK, and honestly, it is the best menopausal Bible ever. I was reading it and going, we were on the same journey. How does this happen? And we're not talking about it. And it just, but when I was going through it, all I had was feedback that sort of minimized the situation, I guess. And it was actually impacting on my lifestyle. And when I went to the pharmacist or the chemist, they gave me these little pessaries that you stick up your privates and they slowly dissolve. And it's a standard treatment for a lot of women for dryness. But unfortunately, with my sensitive skin, my body imploded. And honestly, if I could have accessed clamshells, I think I would have flayed my skin to try to get that pessary out. It was horrific. And that was sort of it. There was that, or there were things like KY jelly, and that was it. And that was what put me on the journey to think there has to be something that is natural, that is not chemical laden, that will suit us and soothe us without leaving us feeling either that we're using something very unnatural or well, and oozy. The other thing was those pessaries, they ooze and cream out, and you feel disgusting. You don't feel like your attractive self. You don't feel like your feminine self. And the fact that you have to wear a panty liner, and then when I started trying other things that were out there on the market, there were a few that were bee-based and one that was hemp-based, and they were sticky and gooey so that your intimate skin stuck together, which didn't really help the dryness. Or you oozed out these chunks of stuff that just, once again, made you feel like you weren't your best self. So
that's horrible. Yeah.
So the journey was creating something that has those humectant properties to sort of plump our skin and soften our skin and keep our skin moist, but not make us feel like we're...
So how did you know where to start, though? Is it something that you have like a chemistry background, or, how did you know where to start with that? Because that's such a big project, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to make sure that it doesn't, like the sensitive bit, that, all the ingredients, and then it passes all the tests for the ingredients. I mean, the certifications is a massive nightmare, isn't it? So how did you?
Well, I actually need to shout out to my high school chemistry teacher, Carrie Beach, because he was so disappointed when I went on to university and only did chemical engineering for a semester and then decided I wanted to do something that had a bigger global imprint from a humanities perspective. And I think I broke his heart because it was back when there weren't many girls in science. And I think I was going to be his champion that he was going to talk about for the next 20 years. So he'd be so proud now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You should track him down.
I should do, actually, because he was such a passionate teacher and so passionate about girls going to college and living their best life. I should actually. I will, and I'll let you know.
He does, honestly. He sounds like a great bloke, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I started with just trying to research. And when you try to research perimenopause now, there's so much information. And when you research vaginal dryness, there's so much information. But when I started the journey, there wasn't really a lot out there. So for me...
When did you start? When did you start?
I started for my own personal benefit, probably about 5 to 6 years ago. But I didn't start in earnest at that time. I was just trying to find a solution for me. But at the same time, my husband and I were busy. We were working, and we were working opposite days to make sure someone was always with my mum because she was aging and she was living with us. And we had a lot of high care needs with her at her end of life. So for me, I was so frustrated because I was trying to be the best daughter for my mum and give my mum my best. And I would drive an hour and a half away to our doctor. So you'd sort of spend a day, go an hour and a half to your doctor, have the wait, and then have the appointment, and then try to do errands and come back. And I would just get these bland, it's just perimenopause, or maybe counseling would help. So I was trying desperately to quickly, in the little windows I had, find something that would work. I ordered products from all over the world that didn't quite live up to what I expected. And then I just started, there was a lot of information from the 80s about olive oil being beneficial for perimenopause. So that was my first go-to, was I started looking at olive oil and its properties. And then I just got switched on through a chef to coconut oil and to direct micro expelled coconut oil. And she was so passionate about it. And I thought, it's antibacterial properties. It's perfect for the tropics. And it just opened up a whole new world for me, the discovery of that.
Isn't it? Yeah, fabulous. Oh, but what did you try? Because I've listened to on the podcast, you said that you didn't listen to your intuition. You kind of went with what other people had said. Oh, this might be good to add to it, and that might be good. Yeah. So what were those little mishaps?
Yeah, because when I started talking about it, then everybody had input. And I really should have just listened from the start, because I had it in my head from the start. But then people, naturopaths and people that had had a lot of experience with compounding would say, well, no, you really need to use, with a big push. I had so many people tell me I had to use xanthan gum, because one of the big issues with coconut oil is this lovely consistency for you in the UK. Here in the tropics, it is pure liquid. So I had to find a way to use coconut oil, but make it consistent across geographic boundaries.
My little pot, when you open it, it's liquid.
Ah.
No, it's yours liquid.
What?
Mine's like that.
Oh, yeah. Ah, perfect. Yeah, because mine isn't liquid, but it is soft, a little bit softer than yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because
so,
I put mine onto the radiator to see what would happen, and it did. It went to liquid, so I wasn't sure if yours would be liquid because of obviously where you live, or whether it would be like that. So
well, no, that
cool
was actually, that was part of the journey, was finding a way to keep it in hardened form, because coconut oil does have such a low or no high, a high melting point. Yeah.
Melting point,
so until 36 degrees, it will stay consistent.
Well, that shows you how cold it is here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's been snowing all day and it's absolutely freezing, and you can tell by my little pot.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So did the process take a long time and a lot of money and, you know, all those things? And
it did take, well, it didn't take as much time, I guess, once I was in complete earnestness of thinking, right, we've hit this, we've made it work for me in the tropics. And I thought, I'm not alone in this. There are so many other women going through the same issue that want something natural. So the process then was probably only about 9 months once I decided to make it geographically stable. And the biggest...
Did that work yourself?
Yes.
Did you do that work? Yeah, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And actually, if you go onto the HappyPause Menopause YouTube channel, or you go on Facebook to Will and Mel's Wildlife, you'll see this awesome bloke out in the outback telling you about HappyPause. And he's just such a cute larrikin. And he says, ladies, get it on your fanny. And it's just so hilarious. But
I have seen that. I know who you mean. Yeah.
Well, he talks about it because he's a herpetologist. So he's a snake handler and a venomous snake handler. And when I was trying to do some of the stability testing, everybody was telling me, oh, you got to go to Will. You got to go to Will. He'll help you with the stability testing, because he does all the incubation of various reptiles.
Wow.
So it was the strangest.
Discuss. That would be my worst nightmare job. That, honestly, I would hate it. Reptiles. Yeah. So it was quite a journey. And if you were doing the whole thing again, what would you do differently? Is there anything you would do differently?
You know, honestly, my husband and I were talking about this, and I thought, what would I do differently? I don't think I would do a single thing differently, because even though when I look back now, I say I should have just followed my instincts right from the start. If I hadn't sort of listened to all the other noise and tried all those things, I wouldn't have known that they wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, very good point.
Can
I tell you what I love about, well, I love the Balm, and it works, and it gave me my mojo back. So anyone who's even thinking that they haven't lost the mojo, that was me. I was like, oh no, I'm fine. But then when I tried it, I was like, wow, I had lost my mojo. I just didn't realize it. I think because the process it goes for so long, a little bit at a time, doesn't it? And before you know it, you're at point B and you think you're at point A. So please, anybody who's going to try it, please try it. It's well worth a try. But you know what I love? How much attention is being given to the design of everything. It's like incredible. Did you sit down, Mandy? And sort of no, it is. It's lovely. Like even there, I missed that bit first. I don't know if you can see that bit there. It says, you'll love us from the very first glide. I mean, that's so cute. Honestly, Sandy, you did such a cracking job. Really nice. And look at that. That's beautiful. You have to say. I hope I can show that properly there.
Yeah.
So, how did you come up with all the designs and things?
Well, the way I came up with the design was, initially, I just wanted to be bold and just be out there. And I wanted, I guess, some sort of like Georgia O'Keeffe-esque orchid, like facing out. And so I had my best friend from high school that I'd gone through puberty with, is an artist in San Francisco. And I reached out to her and I just said, look, I'm wanting to create, well, not wanting to, I've created this healing balm, and I really want to get the message out there to women that we deserve to feel that soothing goodness, and we really shouldn't struggle, and we need to look after ourselves. What do you think? Do you have any ideas? And I kind of want it to have a bit of a vag focus, So she did these amazing sketches for me that were brilliant and very, very vag and very, very out there. And what I discovered then when I tried to show them to a circle of ladies in their 60s was they all recoiled and were absolutely aghast. And I thought, oh, well, this isn't just an issue for us at perimenopause. This is an issue all the way through. And once your estrogen flattens in that postmenopause, you even need it more. And I thought, so I don't just want women in their 40s that aren't confronted by those images to say, wow, I need this and I'm going to have it on the journey. I thought, I want everyone to feel comfortable to have it on their journey. So then Jamie created this beautiful flower logo that is, in theory, it's the same orchid approach, but it's looking out. So this is like you from in.
She made that for you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really pretty, isn't it?
And for me, it was just the best gift having Jamie along on the journey of the design, because she was there and we went through puberty together. So you go through all those same kind of, roller coaster emotions and things in menopause that you think, how can I be getting this flash angry or having such a big brain fog or having the hormonal roller coaster? And it's just like when you were a bloody teenager all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's lovely that your friend did that for you, because it is really pretty.
And she also, okay, go on.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I really like everything about it. Like every surface has like a lovely detail on it. So it's honestly really well thought out. That I love it.
And I love when you open the flap that Jamie's beautiful ladder ladies are there, sort of giving you the really happiness energy. And
no, it's good. Honestly, it's really nice. I was very, very impressed, but I wasn't sure whether, because seeing all of your posts, you kind of get an idea of what you're going to be like. And I thought that was like you, definitely. That's a reflection of you. It's got like a good design. It's got pretty colors. It's all well thought out. I was like, yeah, that's you. I think you've done that. So yeah, well done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, it was so lovely taking Jamie's art and then just putting it together on that box. It was very, I don't know, for me, it was like all of a sudden my best friend wasn't 6,000 miles away. As I was putting the layout together, it was just like she was there with me. And it was like we were kids again, giggling down in her bedroom in their farmhouse.
That's nice. That is really nice. Yeah. Right. Well, is there anything you do differently? We've done that one. What about people you've met? Have you met some amazing people on this journey of yours?
I really have. For me, I had always sort of, I don't know, we moved to the tropics. And when you move to the tropics in Australia, it is a complete lifestyle change. Things are a lot slower up here. It's a different pace. It's a different philosophy. So you almost kind of shut yourself off from the outside world in some ways. So I shunned Instagram a little bit and just sort of did Facebook with a close circle of friends. So this was my foray out into discovering the world of Instagram. And I love it because you read so much about trolls and all the bad side effects of social media. And yet for our demographic, there's this amazing group of very supportive, encouraging women all across the globe.
I totally agree. They're lovely, aren't they? As a group, they're just really lovely.
Yeah. So I've been so thankful, I guess. And I've enjoyed meeting people like you. And I was just so excited to all of a sudden have Kavu Clothing as the face of HappyPause for the UK. I'm really looking forward to that partnership growing as HappyPause grows and as your clothing wear grows.
Not as excited as me. I'm so excited about it.
Well, and for me, with you and a core of about 12 other ladies who have gone, oh, this has made such a difference. That's the whole reason I created HappyPause. Like you talking about your mojo. Okay, that's it. My life tick complete for this HappyPause creation, because I wanted other women to have that same, oh my goodness, that I had when I finally nailed it with HappyPause.
Yeah. Oh, well done you. That's great. What about future plans? Have you got future plans for HappyPause?
The future plans are really just continuing to try to get the word out on a wider platform for more women to discover HappyPause and just discover just that soothing comfort. And for me, I guess when it's only been a few months now of actually being properly out there with HappyPause. And so often I have people say, oh, well, I'm fine down there, or "Oh, I don't have dryness." And it's almost like we kind of,
that was me.
yeah. Menopause is bad enough. We want to just clear. Oh, hello.
Sorry, this is Pops.
Hello, Pops. Aren't you gorgeous?
Isn't she beautiful? Yeah, you're the star of the show. She's scratching my leg. Sorry.
If you've heard any snoring through the podcast, it's actually my Marima, because she's down at my feet and she keeps snoring every once in a while.
I know, they just steal the show, don't they? They steal the show.
Oh.
Yeah, she's beautiful, aren't you? You're a beautiful girl. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You're talking to Australia.
Hello. Oh.
Right, sorry, I'll put her out of the way.
No, there's always
so
time
where
for
do you
dogs.
manage? Have you sold every country, and what's the furthest you've sold to?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't sold yet in the Northern Territory in Australia. So if we've got any Territorians listening, come on, I need to say all of Australia. But no, we've sold everywhere with an NT in Australia, New Zealand, America, the UK, Holland. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, and there's been a few issues with a lot of the European countries right now. They're the postal service from Australia to there isn't open because of all the COVID requirements. But I've been
lockdown.
Yeah, and there's still a few just freight nightmares and servicing nightmares. But I'm looking forward to sort of, I guess, strengthening that European footprint. And I'd also like to start to grow a bit in Korea and Japan as well, because I know they take perimenopausal health quite seriously and look for natural options as well.
And you know, when you find out where's going to be a market for yourself, I think like for me, like the Philippines they said the Philippines is going to be a good market. I was like, whoa, I wouldn't ever have even thought of the Philippines. It wouldn't have even, I was thinking more like America and Europe, you know, and Australia. I wasn't thinking like the Philippines and China, you know.
Yeah.
So bamboos come from China. I wasn't thinking about it going back to China. It never even occurred to me that would happen. So yeah, it's sometimes your markets work out a completely different geographical area than you expect, don't they?
Yeah, they do come sometimes from where you least expect.
How about the USA? Have you had sales?
I haven't had as many sales as I anticipated in the States yet. But having said that as well, I guess I haven't done really any targeted marketing yet. It's one of those things because I said before that I'm new to social media, I really wanted to, I guess, see how my footprint could grow organically before I tried to actually do direct and targeted marketing. So for a lot of it right now, I've just tried to just see how it ripples out and how the word ripples out.
You know what I also thought about your product? It's very inexpensive. It's really good value, honestly. So
yeah, well, that was very deliberate. And
what was it? Okay.
And unfortunately, I've found that if I want to try to be in every Boots and every chemist and that sort of thing, I would probably need to look at a price point at around $35 by the time you factor in distributors and all the rest. But for me, where I live, there are a lot of women that are pension age that are surviving only on the pension. And I thought, I want this to provide comfort to women of all backgrounds and all economic means. So for me, I thought, what would I be able to spend on this symptom if I was like one of my neighbors who's struggling on the pension? And I tried to make it a price point that's affordable for all. And when I have my end of financial year meeting with our accountant, I think that our accountant will have kittens because of the price point. But I've always worked on enough. And once you have enough, you don't need to have that higher profit line. So I worked on what's the least we can sell the product for and not drown.
Yeah, that's really, honestly, that's lovely of you. Very charitable of you, definitely. So well done for you, honestly. Well done for that.